much.
Thank you.
All right, one last question here. This particular question had the honor of being the very first question that we received when we announced this thing. And the question is as follows. We live in a semi-rural environment and share our city with a number of other living beings, including coyotes. Coyotes can be a danger to domesticated animals such as cats and dogs, as well as other things. What are your thoughts regarding our control and or coexistence with these animals? And Betty, I'll start with you.
First of all, I'm an animal lover, so it's very hard for me to say, well, let's just kill them off, because that actually doesn't happen. We've had studies come in front of the council saying that if you remove a dominant coyote from an area, then the other ones come in. So then it begs the question, are we overdeveloping? Maybe not us, but our neighbors overdeveloping, such as, you know, the Butcher Solana Canyon, right? So they want to put 284 units in there, and whatever's living in there that's getting their natural habitat taken away might be coming up on the hill. So I think the focus is not just coyote control, but maybe we need to also talk to the city of Torrance, making sure that that property doesn't get developed, so then the coyotes have somewhere to live. And then, unfortunately, you know, small animals, sometimes you just have to keep them inside the house. I really don't know what else we could do besides protecting our own animals from being attacked by coyotes.
Thank you. David?
Well, also, having pets in our home, we are concerned about the coyotes and leaving our little dog out, even in our fenced-in backyard. But as far as overall plan for the coyote management issues in Palos Verde Estates, I'm not up to speed on it. I'll be the first one to admit that. I have not studied the issue. I don't know what the options are, and therefore I'm not going to make any other opinion other than the fact that I am concerned about for our little dog, Coco.
And Coco appreciates that.
She does.
Kevin?
I have two little dogs, and I would volunteer to let them go out and roam around and try to catch these coyotes. But I'm in favor of trapping. I mean, you know, we live up in the Peacock neighborhood, and the city maintains a flock of, I think, it seems like 40 or 50, but it's like 22. And so, and they really don't do anything unless you call and you complain. You call and you say, hey, I got a lot of peacocks, and I'll have anywhere from 8 to 10 peacocks in my yard at any time. And the kids like them, and I clean up after them, and it's fine. But at the end of the day, I think if there are coyotes and they're hurting our animals, or we're afraid for our kids, we need to trap.
Victoria?
I had a resident ask me about this recently. I'm sort of famous. People who know me know that I kind of equate most of life to a bell curve, and you have the extremes, and you know, the people who want to trap and kill all the coyotes, and people who think that every single one of them should you know, not ever be touched. And most of life probably happens in the center of the bell. I do know, you know, again, last couple of years as city council, I think this topic's only come up once, and it probably was about 2 years ago, and it was more to talk about the tracking portal on the city's website. So it's a concern. It comes up. It's been coming up more and more often. So I think because it's a concern, we need to get it back on an agenda. We need to talk about it. I think it would be awful to feel like you were trapped in your house because there might be a coyote outside, or that you're awful that you're trapped in because you have to keep the dog in because, you know, what's going to be outside. I think that Torrance, city of Torrance is I think this is probably why this is coming up again, because Torrance, but again, until the residents had an uproar, didn't want to deal with it either. So I think maybe we need to put this back on an agenda for a community discussion.
Great, thanks. Jennifer?
Police Captain Tony Best is in charge of this area, and he's been to several regional trainings, and he's put a lot of information on our city website, and I would encourage whoever asked the question to go look at that. Because a lot of the management, as was said, if you trap them or if you kill them, if you take them out of their environment, another coyote or more coyotes come in to fill that void. So what we've tried to do is focus on what we as residents can do to keep the coyotes away. And so there is a lot of information on our website. Again, it's keeping pets in, it's keeping pet food in, not just in a garage, but closed and locked away and sealed, and things like that, basically eliminating the attractants. So I hope that whoever did ask that question will take a look at that, and so that you can help protect yourself from the coyotes.
Great, thank you. Michael?
Last but not least, I'm actually going to share the story with Dave and tell you that I think you should hang on to Coco because I actually lost a cat. You know, it's challenging because as hard as it was and is to lose pets, our ecosystem requires balance. And I'm not in favor of constant trapping for all the reasons that have been said above. So I'd be open to looking at it. Victoria, I like your nothing at the fringes argument. I'd be happy to have a community conversation and pay attention to it because it is a concern. But having been on both ends, both of, you know, caring about animals, et cetera, but also having lost one, I get it.
Okay, thank you very much.